We're on camera.
We're on.
The nerves have hit me. Oh shit. This is it. What are we talking about? Hello.
I don't know. Martyn. No, so I mean we were unloading the vans and getting the bikes together.
Yeah.
And Tucker, one of our shop guys, or he's an amazing shop guy. They're all amazing people. We'll get into that later. But he was like, the first year you were here, is this more bikes than you made that year? And I was like, it is. Like,
well, that's a weird thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
right. Yeah.
Just at the booth, we have more. And then so it was like, you know, I was the only one who rode those first years because I was the only one with one.
Yeah.
And then more people and more, and then it was really very Bowhead centric in like, that's weird, just this insulated little group trying to like tell people about it.
Yeah.
But then more and more people, and then you and GMBN, and the word spread, and it's all around the world. And coming back this year with all these bikes, kind of thinking, what a great job Sea Otter's done, and what the partners like GMBN or Hayes or Continental and Bosch, like, it's not about, just like Bowhead outgrew me with the amazing people that work for it, the adaptive mountain bike scene has outgrown Bowhead in a way. And
right.
So yeah, and then I was thinking, like, isn't it cool? Because I listened to people walk around and talk about, like, you remember, what was your first bike in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah.
And it was kind of this, like, where were you when mountain biking started, or this started?
Yeah.
And now we're going to get to share, we're going to replay, or that's what I was thinking, you kind of replay the start of a sport. I didn't think I'd get to do that.
It's weird because I may be old. I'm
Older
not sure.
than me.
I mean, I'm even older than you. And I was coming to this event when it was very early days.
Oh yeah.
Not when it was literally the first events, but I would read about Sea Otter in the magazines as a young mountain biker in like 1990, and it would be like this sport becoming something. And then I think it was maybe like 1997 was the first year I came.
Really?
And it was like, you know, it was like coming to Mecca or something, you know. It was just
That's
like,
the
oh
year
my God.
after I broke my back.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No way, it's crazy.
What was it like?
Yeah.
Like,
it was, nothing like the size it is now, and nothing like the sort of, it's got kind of a polished look to it now because all of the merchandise stands have got a real cool look to them, and there was maybe only 2 or 3 stands that were like that, and most of the other stuff was like the team trucks, you know, it was all team trucks, and the bikes, the actual bikes,
right.
You know, and that's what everyone was looking at.
and were you coming to compete?
I was coming to compete in the trials because they had trials, and I was doing like demonstrations.
Right.
And then I came back for several years. I think maybe 2001 was the last time I came back as a bipedal mountain biker, and then I came back last year with a Bowhead. And it's weird, like you're saying about us. This is really similar to those. There's going to be people who see what is created on Bowheads here this weekend, and it will be the aspiration of like, oh, I'd love to go there. And like for that person who Bowhead means their bike, it's going to mean like, I want to go there. I want to see like Cole Bernier rip it up, and you know what I mean. Like you're seeing the kind of little early moments of the legends of a new sport be born, and they're going to be important people.
Totally.
You know?
And I never, like, having been integral to the creation of this, I anticipated some things, or dreamt of, you don't anticipate, but you own a company and you're like, you dream that it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
But I never anticipated that I'd be like a fanboy of the people that ride this thing.
The bike,
It never crossed my mind that I would be like, oh, I can't wait to see.
Well, I was telling someone a really amazing conversation we had in Whistler in, I don't know which year it was. It was maybe 2016, maybe the first time that you were there and I met you there, but it might have been the time after that. I think it was 2016, and I think you rode the trails and you come down and you were like, I think I've made a mountain bike. Like, You had it like, it was such a funny
you should
moment.
try this and confirm it.
It's such a funny moment. It's like, I actually went up and drove the trails you said, and I think this is actually a mountain bike. And I was like, yeah, was that not what you were going for? I don't know what's going on. It was so weird. It was like, oh, I think, yeah, that's cool. I've stumbled across, I had a mountain bike all along. It's so, and that's like come from there to here is so crazy. Because I went out riding with Cole yesterday, and it's like, it's a bike that you can make look good with the right rider on it. It can be stylish and like whippy and cool, and like, you know, not when I'm on it, but you know, it's an incredible change and transformation.
Totally. And talking to the guys at the Hayes booth, and he was asking, like, because I'm a technical person, and he's like, so did you have to do, when they're like jumping it, did you have to change things to make it jump better? And I was like, I don't want to fess up, but I actually don't know how to jump. I don't know. Those guys do. So I think it's very rider specific.
Yeah, and it's weird that the bike's capabilities have changed as the riders have come into it. But now the rider's input is changing the bike you're making. Yeah. And I'm sure the Bowhead of 5 years from now is going to look very different and will have done some quite remarkable things. Totally. By that time. I mean, 5 years from now, I wonder.
Well, exactly, you know? And that's where, like, the Hayes guys, like, that dawned on me as well. Is that now there's someone else who's interested, but he wasn't like, nothing against the people that visited us the first time we were here 5 years ago in our 10x10 tent, but you got a lot of the weirder folk that were like, oh, what's that weird thing? And like, I made a weird thing when I was 15. And you're like, oh God, we got an hour of this guy talking to me. But now you've got like industry leaders like the Continental, like a $85 billion company, and they're like, what would you do to make a wheelchair tire better?
Yeah.
Like,
that's interesting.
I didn't know that they were interested. And now, just the connections and the partnerships, and that they've recognized it, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, it's a viable business thing, which is when when people's ears perk up from an industry stand, and maybe that they're just personally invested because they think it's awesome. And
well, I think there's always the amazing story built into, like, by definition, built into any one of these people who's riding these bikes, because they're there for extraordinary reasons. But so that's always compelling. But I feel like with the word adaptive mountain bike is actually kind of new. There's been people who've tried to ride mountain bikes for decades. I was one of them, trying it in a very different way. And then you've got people like your man in Whistler who's did it on his four-wheeler thing, and does it amazingly well. But there's always been a little bit of a barrier because you've got to really want to do it. Whereas the beauty of the bikes now that you guys have created means that someone can get on it in various different forms and discover they're a mountain biker too. And that's amazing. And I predict, and I'm got some confidence, I predict there's going to be, you know, adaptive mountain biking could be the biggest disability sport in the world in not very long. And I really think that's like a remarkable thing. And it's here starting like in these years. Totally. You know, from whenever
because it's like, well, what is it? It's exactly what mountain biking is.
So
it's like you don't have to be really like obscure to think about like, well, what could adaptive? It's like, oh, it's freedom, it's fun, it's nature, it's camaraderie, it's all those things.
Well, Cole did yesterday. Cole was doing some stuff for our camera, and he did like a whip. And it was like, oh, that was a nice whip. You know, it's like I bet you there's going to be someone doing whips on bowheads in a few years' time on big jumps, and we'll be like, oh my God, that's insane. But progression happens, and it's going to be amazing to see where it goes.
The progression of Sea Otter itself, from a company that, you know, their first step was letting me race, and then letting everyone race, and then opening up the dual slalom, which no adaptive rider had done, because it was like, well, you can't do it. And you know, we basically just said, yeah, we can. And they're like, well, then you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're invited. There's been no barrier from Sea Otter, and I guess maybe that goes back to its roots, that it started as this sport that, you know, was a little on the outside.
Yeah.
And so they all recognize.
And then brought it in, I mean, their acceptance of it has been amazing. And when I signed on this year on their website, I went on their website and I could sign on as me, you know, and there was categories for me to be part of. I was like, there I am. There's me on the downhill race. I know what day I'm doing it. And there's so many races that I could choose from that I can't do them all.
That's so cool.
And that's amazing.
I'm
like,
it's often I'd sign up for a race and be like, well, I'm not going to put anything about what I'm riding, because if they find out, maybe they won't let me do it. I'd rather just show up and have chaos, and then I'll just go.
Yeah, and some of this, and you could tell there was understanding from Sea Otter of the bikes that were right for what we were doing. So the enduro is like, you know, it's the perfect event for the RX, and that's what they're inviting people to come and ride on. And then you've got like the more action sports events of dual and downhill, which is perfect for the reach, but you're going to see people going down it on hand bikes on the RX and
gravel. It'll sort itself out. Just like I'm sure it did back then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you look back at the bikes from the early 90s. People tried some strange ideas. Yeah. But you know, some stuck and some dropped away. But
I raced downhill on my, like in 1995. Yeah. On my Yo Eddie Fat Chance with 2 inches of travel.
Did you have a Yo Eddie Fat Chance?
I did.
Have you still got it?
No. I gave it to a good friend. I know. I gave it to my best friend. No, it got stolen. A homeless guy stole it. So at least there's a homeless guy out there with a pretty sweet ride.
Well, I hope he's sold it, because it's worth a lot of money if you get it nice.
My hyper light handlebars cut down like
as narrow as you could. Yeah. That'll make me fast. It's like, no, it won't. It means you can no longer breathe, and your control of the bike is gone. But we were all like, no, this is the racer mode. Yeah. And then you put bar ends on it.
You've got to be so good to not crash, which means you must be a racer.
I don't know why the narrow bars was ever popular, but it was.
And my ATAC stem that was like that long.
I guess there are trends. I mean, this. Well, here you go. This Sea Otter, I have introduced the trend of the cool roll bar. I mean, will it stick? I don't know. I think personally it looks super cool, because I've shortened mine down. It looks kind of rad. And I predict others will take it on. Roll forward 5 years. And everyone's like, do you remember that time Martyn Ashton put that roll bar on? Like he thought he was in a Formula 1 car. What a dickhead.
Well, as I was saying to you, Bowhead has become not an innovator, but an implementer of others' innovations. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. I've got a few. I'm gonna tell you them later off camera. I've got some ideas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Great stuff.
Trademark.
It's great stuff.
Martyn Ashton.
Yeah. I told you not. No, I literally said to you, don't say about that. I did. I told him yesterday. Don't tell him. I want to. Bloody hell! I've ruined it now. Now you've said the word mudguard, he's going to be against it. God damn it.
Well, I'm just thinking, where could it go?
I have got a really good idea for it. Seriously, I have actually got a really good idea for a front mudguard.
Oh yeah?
It's actually brilliant. Good. You're going to like it.
I'll take it.
Fun. Hey, fun chat. Yeah. Fun chat. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So you make bikes? Okay, cool. Yeah, nice.